If this message has landed in front of you tonight, it didn't happen by chance. You weren't idly scrolling. Something bigger than random luck pulled you here at the exact moment your spirit needed it most. Coincidence isn't really how the universe operates. It moves through synchronicity, through that strange, invisible tug that made you pause, made you keep reading instead of letting this fade into the endless noise of everything else competing for your attention. You've been waiting. You've been turning things over in your mind late at night, replaying the last thing they said, the last look they gave you, the last text that never got a reply, searching for some clue you think you might have missed. In your quietest hours, when everyone else is asleep and your mind won't let you rest, you keep circling back to the same aching question. Why did they go quiet? Why now? And why with no explanation at all? What you're about to hear isn't some vague comfort dressed up in pretty language. It's the honest answer your spirit has been asking for, laid out plainly, without softening it into something easier to swallow. What's coming isn't a prediction pulled out of thin air. It is a recognition of something you may have already felt deep within yourself long before you had the words to explain it. There are moments in life when your conscious mind is still searching for an explanation, while something deeper inside you has already noticed the pattern. Your body can respond before your thoughts catch up. You may have felt that quiet pull toward this person, that unusual sense of familiarity, that strange feeling that something between you remained unfinished even after the conversations stopped and the distance appeared. Perhaps you tried to dismiss it. Perhaps you told yourself that you were imagining things because you wanted the connection to mean more than it did. But the fact that you experienced something deeply does not automatically make you delusional, needy, or foolish. Your emotions were real because you experienced them. The memories were real because they happened. The impact was real because something about that connection touched a part of you that ordinary interactions rarely reach. Sometimes we understand the significance of an experience only after we have stepped away from it. What once felt confusing begins to make sense when enough time passes for the emotional noise to settle. That is why you should not immediately reject what your intuition was trying to tell you. At the same time, intuition should not become an excuse to create a fantasy around someone else's silence. There is a difference between honoring what you felt and inventing certainty about what another person feels. You can acknowledge the connection without allowing it to control your life. You can recognize that something mattered without deciding exactly what it must become. Perhaps your inner world was simply telling you that this experience had something important to teach you. Perhaps it awakened a part of you that had been sleeping for years. Perhaps it showed you what you desire, what you fear, what you tolerate, or what you need to change. And perhaps the most important message was never about predicting another person's next move. Perhaps it was about learning to trust yourself again. Your gut wasn't necessarily wrong. What you experienced mattered to you, and the connection you felt was not automatically meaningless simply because circumstances became complicated or communication disappeared. There are certain moments between two people that leave an imprint far deeper than their duration would suggest. A conversation can last 10 minutes and still remain in someone's memory for years. A single look can communicate something that words never managed to express. A moment of vulnerability can create emotional significance that neither person expected. Even silence can become part of the story because silence often leaves the mind searching for meaning. You may remember the way they looked at you, the way they listened, the things they revealed, or the subtle changes in their behavior when the two of you were together. These details can become emotionally powerful because they represented something you could feel but could not fully define. When communication disappears, the mind naturally tries to complete the unfinished story. It asks what happened, what changed, whether the feelings were mutual, and whether the connection could ever return. But you don't have to answer every question immediately. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is allow uncertainty to exist without turning it into a verdict against yourself. Their distance does not prove that you imagined everything. Their silence does not prove that they never cared. But it also does not guarantee that they secretly feel exactly what you hope they feel. Reality has to be allowed to speak for itself. This is where emotional maturity becomes important. You can hold space for the possibility that something meaningful existed while still remaining grounded in what you can actually observe. You can respect your memories without living inside them. You can appreciate what the connection awakened in you without making another person's behavior the measurement of your worth. Something can be meaningful and still not become permanent. Something can change you without staying with you forever. Some connections arrive to reveal something, challenge something, or awaken something within us. The meaning of a relationship is not always determined by whether two people end up together. Sometimes the deepest meaning is discovered in who you become because the relationship happened at all. Here's what you need to hear clearly, because everything around you will try to convince you of the opposite. Their silence isn't rejection. It isn't indifference. It isn't the slow, quiet fading of what the two of you built together. What looks like absence from where you're standing is actually the loudest thing they know how to do right now. They haven't left. They're underwater, pulled down by a feeling they don't yet have the tools to process. When it comes to matters of the soul, quiet rarely means nothing is happening. Usually it means the opposite. There's too much happening, more than words can hold. It's a throat so full it can't get a single sound out. When someone has been reached at the level you reached them, ordinary communication just breaks down. They try to find the words and the words slip away from them. They open their mouth and nothing comes but a tremble. So instead they vanish. Picture a pressure cooker, sealed tight, sitting on a low flame. From the outside it looks calm, almost forgotten. But inside, everything is shifting, cooking, turning into something entirely new. That's what their silence actually is. Not an absence of feeling, but a fire so intense they don't trust themselves to lift the lid just yet. Carl Jung once made the point that whatever we refuse to bring into our conscious awareness ends up controlling us as fate instead. And that's exactly what's happening to this person. The one whose silence has swallowed up so much of your recent life. They're being confronted, whether they like it or not, by forces that have been waiting a long time for them to stop running. You didn't create this reckoning. You simply made it impossible for them to keep putting it off. So understand, their quiet isn't a final verdict on you. It's a symptom. It's what an internal storm looks like from the outside. While you've been reading their distance as a door slowly swinging shut, the truth is that behind that door, something is being taken apart and rebuilt from scratch. They haven't stopped thinking about you because they forgot you exist. Quite the opposite. They can't stop remembering you, and that constant remembering has become heavier than they know how to carry right now. They wake up at 3 in the morning, and your name is the very first thing that arrives, uninvited and impossible to shake. Sitting right there in that thin space between sleep and consciousness. They reach for their phone. They put it back down. They pick it up again, then lock the screen and turn it face down on the nightstand, as if that small physical gesture could quiet the pull. It doesn't. Nothing does. All through the day, you show up in pieces. A song in the grocery store that used to be your song. A stranger's laugh that sounds, for one disorienting second, exactly like yours. The empty chair across the table at dinner. Their own reflection in a dark window seeming to ask them something they don't have an answer for. They've built a whole system of distractions just to keep you at bay. And somehow, you keep slipping through every gap in it. What they're actually wrestling with isn't you at all. It's themselves. Because meeting you meant coming face to face with something they'd spent years successfully avoiding. You became a mirror, and in that mirror, everything unhealed in them suddenly became visible in a way they couldn't unsee. And the reflection was so raw, so accurate, so uncomfortably true that they had to look away, not from you, from what they saw in themselves. This is what Jung referred to as the shadow. Everything a person has buried and refused to examine. The fear of being fully known, the terror that comes with being genuinely loved, the deep-seated belief, planted long before they could even name it, that they're somehow not deserving of the very thing they want most. You didn't put that shadow there. It already existed. But your warmth, your presence, your willingness to truly see them switched on a light in a room they'd spent decades arranging furniture around just to keep it dark. So now they're sitting with all of it, the discomfort of being truly witnessed, the panic that shows up when love arrives without conditions or manipulation, without the familiar cruelty they'd unconsciously come to expect. They're not running from you. They're running from a version of themselves they haven't learned to love yet. And every mile they put between you, every silent day, every message left unanswered, is them slowly circling back toward the very thing they're pretending to escape. Let this settle deep, because it matters. You are not interchangeable to them. You're not one more face blending into a long line of people who've come and gone. There have been others before, sure. Distractions, names whispered and then forgotten. You are not one of them. You're the one their nervous system simply cannot file away. You're the one who broke their pattern. What happened between the two of you wasn't just chemistry, although chemistry was certainly part of it. It was recognition, the kind that reaches the level of the soul. The kind of meeting that feels like it was arranged long before your paths ever physically crossed. Some part of you sensed them before you ever laid eyes on each other. Some part of them remembered you the second your voice entered the same room as theirs. This connection didn't start the day you met. You simply became aware in that moment of something that had already been quietly waiting. Jung once compared the meeting of two personalities to a chemical reaction. If there's a real reaction, both substances are altered by it. Sit with that for a second. Both are changed. Not just the one who stayed behind, and not just the one who ran. Both. What they're going through right now, in this silence, isn't happening despite you. It's happening because of you. You aren't some minor chapter that will get skimmed over later. You are the event that rearranged the chemistry of their inner world. That's exactly why they can't just casually move on. It's why every attempt to replace what they had with you keeps falling flat. They've tried, reaching for what's familiar, for easier people who ask less of them, and every time, something in them no longer fits into those smaller spaces they used to live comfortably inside. You shook the foundation, and a foundation that's been shaken doesn't just go back to being still. You expanded their sense of what was even possible. You showed them, maybe without meaning to, what it actually feels like to be understood. And once someone has tasted that kind of recognition, there's no unlearning it. They can try to bury it. They are trying. But the memory of you isn't something that simply erases itself. It's become a frequency they now carry with them everywhere, whether or not they ever say your name out loud again. Now we move past what logic alone can explain into a layer of truth that doesn't need justification to be real. Physical distance doesn't equal energetic distance. The miles between you, the days without a word, the silence that's now stretched into weeks or months, none of that has actually severed the connection between you. Energy doesn't answer to the same rules as geography. What's bound at the level of the soul can't be undone simply because a text never got sent. They feel you, even now, even while pretending otherwise. When you think of them late in the evening, something shifts in their chest that they can't quite name. When you cry, an unexplainable heaviness settles over them, and they wonder why the day suddenly feels gray for no reason. When you smile, when peace finds its way to you, when you remember something the two of you once shared, they feel a warmth brush past them like a hand they can't actually see. This is how energetic connection works. You aren't waiting by yourself. They aren't living free of your presence either. The thread between you is still taut, and every emotion that travels along it eventually reaches the other side. They might blame it on work, on the weather, on bad sleep, but it's you. It has always been you, whether they're willing to admit that to themselves or not. There are nights they dream about you, full, vivid dreams that leave them unsettled the moment they wake up. They wake up convinced they were just talking to you, and the feeling of that conversation lingers, like a taste on the tongue they can't quite place or shake off. That isn't random. Dreams don't filter or censor the way the waking mind does. It's in dreams that the soul speaks the most plainly, and yours has been speaking to theirs night after night, whether either of you consciously remembers it in the morning. If any of this is stirring something in you, if you can feel the truth of it landing somewhere words alone can't usually reach, then subscribe to this channel, not as some transactional click, but as something closer to a promise between us. Every piece of content here is meant for the person who's ready to receive exactly this kind of message. By subscribing, you're telling the universe you're open to more of it as it comes, and more of it will keep finding you. Think of their silence as a cocoon rather than an ending. From the outside, a cocoon looks completely still, motionless, maybe even lifeless, but inside, an entire transformation is unfolding. The creature that went in is not the same one that eventually comes out. Its old form is being broken all the way down to its raw material so that something new, something capable of flight, can be built from those same pieces. That's exactly what's happening inside them right now. This is what their quiet is actually holding. They're dissolving, slowly, painfully, and often without fully understanding why. The version of them that knew how to bolt at the first sign of real intimacy, who chose familiar pain over unfamiliar healing, simply isn't functional anymore. It's coming apart. And even though they can't see the wings forming yet, the process has already started. You're not waiting on someone frozen in place. You're waiting on someone actively becoming someone new. They're confronting beliefs that were handed to them before they could even talk. They're unlearning the idea that love has to be earned through constant performance. They're facing, maybe for the first time in their life, the exact wound that taught them to leave before anyone could leave them first.
None of this looks impressive from the outside. It happens quietly, in a kitchen at midnight, in a long shower where they finally let themselves cry, in a parked car where they sit with their hands on the wheel, staring at nothing at all. They're becoming someone capable of holding what you offered them. Not because they weren't worthy of it before, but because the person they were when you met simply wasn't built to receive it yet. Something as deep as what you offered needs a strong enough container to hold it, and they're building that container now, piece by piece, in private.
When they come back, they won't come back the same person who left. They'll return more honest, more grounded, far more capable of actually staying this time. It'll be the same face, but a genuinely different person looking out from behind it. Whatever fear pushed them away will end up being smaller than the love pulling them back toward you. And this quiet, gradual transformation is exactly why the distance had to happen in the first place. What's being built in them couldn't have been built while you were still standing right there. Trust that energy always moves before the physical catches up to it. So as the moment you're waiting for gets closer, pay attention to the small, unmistakable shifts starting to show up in your everyday life. The signs tend to be subtle, but they're never accidental. You'll start noticing their name pop up in places it has no business being. On a sign, in a stranger's random conversation, inside a book you opened without thinking. Songs that were yours will start playing in places you didn't choose them. Numbers will start repeating. The same time on the clock catching your eye again and again. Patterns showing up on receipts and license plates and random paperwork. None of that is coincidence. It's the universe tuning its instruments before the real music starts. You'll dream about them, and the dreams won't feel like memory. They'll feel like actual contact. You'll wake up with the weight of their presence still lingering in the room. And you'll know, in that wordless way the body just knows things, that something has genuinely shifted. These aren't your imagination reaching for something that's already gone. They're the meeting ground, the place where their soul, freer while sleeping than while awake, comes looking for yours. You might feel a sudden, unexplained warmth in your chest at random hours, a softness, a flutter, the sense of being held by something you can't quite see. That's them reaching toward you before they've even consciously decided to. Your own intuition will start speaking more clearly too. Thinking of them will start to feel less like grief and more like anticipation. You'll pass the place you first met and feel no sting at all, just a strange, settled certainty. Trust it. Your body already knows what your mind hasn't caught up to yet. This shift isn't wishful thinking, it's preparation. The energy is rearranging itself, clearing a path, lighting the way home. When the actual moment arrives, it won't look anything like what you've been picturing. Your mind has probably rehearsed 100 different versions of this reunion by now, and not a single one of them will match what actually happens. The universe doesn't work off the script your expectations wrote. It delivers whatever each soul genuinely needs, not what either of you imagined wanting. It might come suddenly. It might catch you off guard on some completely ordinary afternoon, right when you finally started thinking about other things again. A message breaking the silence, an unexpected knock, a call you almost let go to voicemail. Returns like this rarely announce themselves ahead of time. They just walk in through a door you'd honestly forgotten you left open. And when they do show up, it won't be with some polished, rehearsed speech. Whatever they've been practicing in their head for weeks or months will fall apart the second they actually see you. What's left after that collapse will be raw, clumsy, and real, spoken with a shake in their voice finally, after all this time. They might struggle to even look you in the eye. They might struggle to speak at all. Don't mistake that stumbling for insincerity. The fact that the rehearsed version fell apart is exactly what proves what's left is genuine. They'll say things they've never said out loud before. They'll name fears they've never named. They may finally admit for the first time that they were the one who ran, and that none of it was ever your fault. They'll take ownership of what's actually theirs to own. This isn't a fantasy. It's simply the natural outcome of everything they've been working through in silence. Someone doesn't go through that kind of internal rebuilding just to show up wearing the same old defenses. There might be tears, theirs, maybe yours, maybe both. There will likely be a stretch of silence where neither of you knows exactly what to say. And somehow more will get communicated in that pause than in any sentence either of you could form. The connection between you never actually broke. What paused between you will pick back up, not from where it left off, but on a much deeper level than before. If any part of this is lifting something in your chest right now, pass it along. Send it to someone you know who's also stuck in this kind of waiting. Someone whose person has gone quiet too. Someone who needs the reminder that silence isn't the end of the story. Let it keep traveling. It'll find whoever needs it. And now, maybe the most important part of all this. You've already won. You won the moment you chose to protect your own integrity instead of chasing someone who wasn't ready to face you yet. You won by refusing to beg, refusing to shrink yourself down to fit inside a cage built entirely out of someone else's fear. Their return is coming, but your peace can't be something you park on hold until it happens. There's a paradox sitting at the center of all this waiting, and the sooner you make peace with it, the sooner the waiting actually eases. The less you need them, the sooner they tend to show up. Not because the universe is rewarding some clever detachment strategy, since it can't be tricked that easily, but because real peace inside you dissolves the pressure that's been keeping them stuck in flight mode. Once you stop needing their return to feel whole, the very thing that scared them off in the first place, the fear that they were somehow your missing piece, starts to fall away. That frees them to come back without carrying the weight of being your entire salvation. You were whole before they ever showed up in your life. You'll be whole even if they never come back into it. And you'll be even more whole in a deeper way if and when they do. Their presence was never actually the source of your light. At most, it was a witness to it. That light has always belonged to you alone. That same light is what drew them to you in the first place. And it's also the exact thing they couldn't stand being near for a while. So while the universe handles whatever it's arranging on its end, your job right now is much simpler. Come back home to yourself. Rebuild the parts of your life you neglected while you were sitting at the window waiting. Eat the meal, take the walk, laugh at the joke. Remember that joy was never something you needed their permission for, and meaning was never dependent on their return. This waiting period, as strange as it feels, isn't a punishment, it's an initiation. You're being asked to become someone who no longer needs proof to feel secure. Someone who knows deep in their bones that what truly belongs to them can't be taken away, and that whatever was taken was never really theirs to hold on to in the first place. From that place of knowing, you become unshakable. And from that same place, things have a way of finding their way back. So hold on to these final words and let them settle in with the weight of a promise made long before this moment ever found you. This story isn't over. What's gone quiet hasn't disappeared. What's been paused hasn't been ended. The chapter you're afraid might be the last one isn't actually the last. It's the chapter right before everything turns. What's meant for you cannot pass you by. It simply can't. The laws that govern the soul run deeper and hold steadier than the laws that govern everyday circumstance. A connection built at the depth yours was built at doesn't unravel just because one person got scared for a while. It waits. It holds its shape. It comes back around. The universe has invested too much in bringing the two of you together to abandon that work halfway through. What started between you will be completed. Not on your timeline and not on theirs, but on the timeline that's never once gotten it wrong. Picture it now in your mind's eye. The two of you standing in front of each other. No screens, no distance, no silence left between you. Just one room, one moment, finally honest. See their shoulders relax the second they look at you. See the words they couldn't find for so long finally make their way out. Imperfect, but real. See yourself calm, steady, no longer the one left waiting, but the one who spent this time becoming. See yourself receive them fully, without losing a single piece of who you've built yourself into. That image is the one the universe has been holding in place for you. That's the promise being fulfilled. Until it arrives, keep coming back to yourself every single day. Trust the quiet as the season it is. Honor the work happening in places you can't see. Be gentle with the parts of you that are worn out. Hold the parts of you that are still afraid. You have never once been in this alone. Something unseen has been moving on your behalf this entire time. Even now, even in the stillest hour, even before any proof has shown up. And carry this with you through every doubt, every long night, every moment the silence tries to convince you of something it was never actually entitled to declare. Love doesn't end in silence. It only waits there.